What's a crazy story you've been wanting to tell, but there's never been a thread specific enough for it?
I've got 3 cousins who are birth siblings and were adopted by my aunt and uncle 20-some-odd years ago. The oldest boy was maybe 6 at the time, and the 2 younger sisters were maybe 3 and 4. They had just moved in, and my aunt and uncle wanted to introduce them to some kids in the neighborhood from the Cook family down the street, so they set up a dinner date on the calendar. The oldest is just learning how to read and is the newest to the house. So he gets his sisters to pack their toys, and they get caught trying to sneak out of the house. My aunt, who at this point is still a strange old lady these kids just moved in with, asks them why they're leaving, and the oldest asks her, "Why does the calendar say cook kids for dinner?" I can't imagine the fierce 6-year-old me would have felt if my new mom had that written on her calendar, but the story is just so damn cute for some reason. When I worked at the Salvation Army, we had a regular called Teresa, a bearded man who wore pink tutus and would come in every day to see if we have Barbie dolls. One day he came in very anxiously and asked for a razor. I told him we didn't have one, and he started twitching and saying, "I need a razor! Stop hiding them! Just give me a razor!" But with more cursing. When I tried to direct him to another store, he exploded and yelled, "I have a disease growing on my face. I am a woman. This beard is a disease on my face. You don't understand. You don't have a disease on your face. I need a razor." At this point, an elderly Italian woman ran over and yelled at him in that Italian gibberish that only they can do, and he freaked out and bailed out. He came back the next day, back on his meds, and still had a beard. Okay, long, useless story of fuckery ahead. A few years ago, I was promoted to a management position within the software company I work for. I was told I was hand-picked for the job, and though it was a big promotion, I would not receive a pay increase until I had the team performing at minimum required performance standards. 2 years in, I had the team running the best numbers it had ever seen, far exceeding the minimum standards. Every quarter, I asked to be reviewed for a raise, and every quarter, a reason was found to skip the review. Finally, I brought HR into the mix because fuck you, I'm nailing this and busting my ass over here. Miraculously, a date was set for the end of the month. Funny how that works out. Alas, a week before my review date, where I would surely be granted my rate increase, my direct supervisor, a micromanaging weasel of a man, and the CEO of the company, rewrote the minimum requirements to just barely exceed my team's current projected stats. When I came to him, fists clenched, he explained this move as an unrelated adjustment to compensate for improved average performance. Totally legit. Of course, with this change in place a week later, he took the opportunity with the HR director in attendance to express his deep and profound disappointment with my performance and to warn me that he expected me to go the extra mile next quarter or face disciplinary action since my team had failed to make the new grade. I was angry. So angry. I wanted to complain, but hey, it's the CEO. Who am I going to complain to? He knew that too and sneered at me anytime he could. That's why I worked even harder, neglected my family and personal health, and worked to drive my team to their limits. We fucking made it too. I was going to show that dick stain he couldn't win, unless he cheated. When it became apparent that he was going to be forced to eat the pile of shit he shoveled to me in the previous meeting with HR in attendance, he called me into a meeting to design a training handout for the team. We bounced ideas back and forth, but something was weird. Every time I tried to assign a task to someone or set a due date on the handout, the CEO dodged it. By the end of the meeting, we had accomplished nothing solid, and he tabled the assignment for a later date. Because it was tabled and I assumed we would reschedule a follow-up, I filed my notes away and moved on with other work. A month after that planning meeting, I was pulled into HR and written up for failing to issue the training handout we had tabled. The CEO was in attendance and brought his personally typed meeting notes clearly outlining that I was assigned the task that day. I had no recourse. He was lying. I said as much and was treated like a combative child. He acted insulted and incredulous. By the end, I was sent home for the day with a demotion off of the team I had built and worked so hard. I still don't know why the CEO had it out for me. He hired in his most ass-lickingest assistant manager to replace me and told everyone he could how bad I did in that position. I'll never be chosen for something like that again because this f*** decided he didn't like me. That's it. No revenge. No justice. My first year of college, kinda lonely as fuck because now I'm 18 and still never had a boyfriend. I was a photography major taking random photos with my chunky DSLR when I noticed a group of hot guys tossing around a football across from me. One hot one came over and introduced himself to me, and I quickly knew where this was going. Then he said, "My friend over there thinks you're cute. The one in the white shirt." I saw a guy in a white shirt, and he was almost a midget. He had to be like 4'11", with short arms and legs. According to the internet, a midget is legally an inch shorter. Anyway, I didn't want to laugh and turn him down, so we became friends. I even snapped a photo of him. One day, I had no classes for 3 hours, and it was pouring outside, so everyone was inside with nowhere to sit. He said his house was a few minutes away and that his aunt was home, so we can go there. I hesitated. A lot. But hey, why not? His house was half an hour away and in the middle of Farmville, Bumblefuck, completely secluded in the woods. With it being dark and rainy, I felt this was a sign. We got there, and he lied. Nobody was home. Red flag number 1. I put my backpack down and I noticed pictures of him wrangling baby cows and shit. I asked him WTF that was, and apparently he's a cowboy in competitions. He was a midget cowboy. Literally the most fucking random thing ever. Then while watching TV on the sofa, he popped a chicken nugget boner, then tried to pull a move on me to force sex upon me. He was trying to wrangle me. After some struggle, I jumped off the couch and pulled out my handy-dandy box cutter for situations like this, you know, a midget cowboy trying to rape you. I told him to drive me back to school or else I'll stab him. He dropped me off, yelled, "Cunt!" and drove off. Apparently, his friend said that he uses his shortness to pick up chicks, and usually they pity fuck him. TL.DR. A midget cowboy with a chicken nugget-sized dick tried to rape me.